Hey everybody, it's vlog time. I felt like talking about Jedi Fallen Order because I finally beat it the other night. I had been getting into wanting to replay a couple of games, Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and now Jedi Fallen Order. Uh, Happy to say that with Deus Ex, because a while ago I was talking about how I was bumping into this game-breaking bug. Turns out that wasn't on the game. It was on the copy of the disc that I owned, because I got another copy and did not encounter that problem again and was able to continue to play on. So that's good. Jedi Fallen Order, I have never beaten before. I played it when I believe I probably bought it either months or maybe a year or so after it first came out. And I played it a bit and it sat on my shelf and I'd been hankering to play it again. So started a new game and just beat it last night. And I really enjoy it. The combat is good. It's very Dark Souls-y where you have a couple of combos, you have a block and a sort of parry move that you have to time unless you're playing it on easy, which I was because I'm not a master or anything like that. I would like to be, but that requires time and patience, and I don't have patience. So, I really do like the game. I like it for its combat, especially. I like a good dodge parry combo system with some RPG elements in it. Some of the platforming is fine. Others of it, I really don't care for. Specifically when you get into these slide sections where you're going down a ramp and you just have to slide. There are quite a few levels where this happens. And I absolutely hate those sections because you have control, but you kind of don't at the same time, where all of a sudden you'll be taking a turn and you'll try to correct yourself so you can be center because, say, there's a rope or something coming up that you have to line yourself up to nail the rope to be able to swing. Well, for some reason, even though you're trying to level yourself out, the game is like, well, we're going to push you way too far to the left or to the right, so you miss your jump, and then you die. But there's not much of a punishment for that, so we're just going to have you repeat it. I had times where I had to repeat jumps several fucking times, and not just to ropes, to other sides. And sometimes my momentum would get fucked up. And it would just be like, well, you didn't make the jump, or you didn't do the jump correctly or time it right, so now you have to do this again. I mean, they're short, but Christ, they suck. Those are probably the worst aspects. I will say, I never had any game-breaking moments. I did have the game crash on me only one time. But this game definitely should probably have spent a few more months being developed because there are quite a few bugs. There is a lot of pop-in I see happen with a lot of environments. Anytime you're walking into a new environment or you turn around real fast and environments and layers and textures and whatnot have to reload and pop back in. And I had a few funny moments with enemies happen, specifically with creatures, not, stormtrooper enemies or anything like that, where sometimes where after a combo, all of a sudden they would bug out. They wouldn't move and they wouldn't attack. They were still alive. So they would just sort of stand there. I will also add that, while I like the fighting, I had one combat encounter that really sucked where I decided, and this was on Kashyyyk. There's a scene where there's a bunch of stormtroopers fighting two giant spiders, and I thought it'd be fun to just hop into the melee at one point and fight both the spiders and all the stormtroopers, bad idea, because spiders with a group of enemies suck to fight because they will just continuously rush you. So if you're trying to focus on one, the other one comes to the side and swipes at you, and is constantly knocking you down. And then you got stormtroopers behind you shooting at you. So it's like, maybe sometimes just sort of stay back and let them kill each other, before you rush in to finish whoever's left off. I had one encounter where, and this was near the end of the game, where I'm in a room and I'm getting, squads of enemies coming out. And I had a moment where the door opened and two of those specialized black suit stormtroopers come out, and as they came out of the door, they were T-posing, as they came out. I mean, it only lasted a couple of seconds, but then they, began acting how they were supposed to be acting. I do wish that there was more either armor or defense or weapon upgrades, instead of just stuff being cosmetic, that you find in those chests. I do like the fact that you can switch between having, just a single bladed lightsaber or the double bladed. And at one point you even get a combo move where you can, break your saber so it's two different sabers for one quick combo. I kind of wish you could just have a system where you could pick either one of those three, where either you're dual wielding sabers or you're doing one single blade or you're doing a double. But I mean, at least it gives you the option. So that's nice and cool. I don't care for the ponchos. I think the ponchos are kind of ugly. I didn't play a lot at one point with the cosmetics on the lightsaber because there's really no point to it other than it being cosmetic. And it's like, you don't really even really look at your saber that much. You just use it. So I wish that when you were customizing it, you were improving it, maybe improving its strength or its speed, its defense, and whatnot. That would, obviously get me a lot more into customizing it then, instead of, just changing the color of your blade, which at least by end game, they give you a bunch of different colors. But I'm a pretty simple guy, and I love the color blue, so that was pretty much just what I always went with. I wish I was able to show gameplay footage, but none of my editing stuff is working, and I'm broke, so I can't really afford to pay someone else to edit for me right now, unfortunately. Otherwise, I enjoy the game. I would like to check out the sequel, but for some reason, it's not showing up on the PlayStation 4 store. But again, I'm broke, so I couldn't afford it right now. Maybe next week when I get paid, because thankfully I got my hours back, so that's nice. I hope the sequel has improved. I know it's gotten, good online reviews overall, that it's nearly a perfect game, much like this one. It's not entirely perfect, but it is at least, pretty solid, fun. It's got some bugs, but nothing game-breaking. My only other complaint would be that sometimes the actor who plays Cal can be a tad wooden in some scenes, but otherwise it's fine. Obviously, the best character in the entire game is BD1, your droid. I kind of wish he could do or help you out more in combat sometimes. That would be pretty cool. Maybe have him, maybe like while you're, fighting someone, maybe he distracts them, or maybe he hops onto them and, and stuns them or something. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, he obviously is helpful, where, every time you upgrade him, he's able to unlock specific doors. But that's about it. Mostly, you use him for when you find chests and then for doing zip lines, which, on other planets that doesn't happen as much. I like the game. I like a lot of the exploring aspects of it, going from planet to planet, that the game isn't forcing you to be like, no, 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 you have to focus on the story. But yeah, I like the combat. I think it could be a bit more refined or retuned. I had way too many times where at one point I was just mashing buttons, especially during boss fights. But yeah, overall, I really like it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you've always wanted to be a badass Jedi, this is, a great example. I didn't get to play a lot of the other Star Wars Jedi games. I know there's quite a few others. Obviously, I played the original Knights of the Old Republic. I never finished it, but I really did like that game. But that's more of a, you don't really get as much of a combat Jedi experience in that as you do here, where you're freely moving about and using your force powers and attacking people, with your lightsaber. Coolest thing to do in this that I really do love and it really makes you feel like a badass is force pulling a stormtrooper or really any enemy, bringing them in close and then just running them through. That is just the absolute best. Or they're standing near an edge and you just push them off. That is the best. So I really do want to play the sequel. So it's also funny too that this is the only good Star Wars game that EA was able to put out. They only had 3. They had Battlefront, which they fucked up. And then Battlefront 2 was worse. Because, hey, let's force a shit ton of microtransactions into it. And a shit ton of grinding. Where, you want to get all these other levels? Oh, you want to play as this character? You got to pay out the ass for it. Or you better not have a life and just focus on just playing. Which, I mean, I get, but, didn't somebody say that you had to devote, in-game time, that it was, hundreds of hours if you wanted to unlock, say, Luke or Darth Vader? Or even then, if you want to pay for it, it was, full price. Or maybe it was less than that, but I remember that being really ridiculous. And the games weren't even that good. Specifically in Battlefront 2, where the story wasn't very good, it wasn't very interesting, and even then it was really buggy. So, yeah. It'd be nice if this, maybe later on, gets a remaster, and gets some fixes. That'd be cool. I would also like it if there was, maybe some more planets as well to visit. I wouldn't mind having a ranged weapon option, too. That'd be nice, because sometimes some enemies are just way too far away, and the only way to hit them is to deflect their shots, but sometimes they won't be shooting at you as often, and they're way too out of range for you to force pull them towards you. I mean, if I had to give this a rating, I'd probably do an 8 out of 10. Really. It's a solid game. It's got some bugs. It's got some issues. There are some parts about it that I don't like or that I just outright hate, but that's not anything against the core of the game. I want to check out the sequel. Definitely. But yeah, let me know what you think. Did you guys play this? Did you like it? Have you played the sequel? Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Is it any good or any better than the first? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.